Hey, this is Joe with Grow It Build It, and today I'm going to give you a brief update for my leaf mulch in 2025. So most of you who clicked on this video are familiar with leaf mulch that I've been applying to my garden since 2020. And I've documented how it's added approximately 2 inches of black soil depth per year for each full year of leaf decomposition. Okay, so this is going to be an update for this past growing season. Let's see what it looks like. So I took several samples in both my old and new garden. For those unfamiliar, a couple of years ago I expanded my garden substantially. So the original garden I'm calling my old garden, and it's had 5-6 years of leaf mulch, while the new one has had about 3 years now of leaf mulch. And I took 3 samples from that new garden. They ranged anywhere from 5 to 7 inches deep of the black soil. Last year, it was 4 to 5 inches deep of black soil depth, so I definitely have an improvement, which is about what I would expect for this year. Now, when I took the results to the old garden, I must say that this year the results were pretty much the same as last year. Overall, in the old garden, I took 5 samples, and the results were from 8 to 12 inches deep, which is basically the same as last year. I came out to take samples, fully expecting that I would have the same results that I always do, where I add a couple more inches of black soil depth per year. And while I had improvement in the newer garden, I just didn't have any noticeable improvement in the old garden. I really don't know what happened. I can think of a few factors that would influence my results, so let's go through those now. First, last year was the first time I ever did soil nutrient testing, and the results of that nutrient analysis showed that my soil was way more nutrients than what was recommended. And I don't just mean by a little, but by a lot. I'll link to last year's update below if you want to see it, but based on that, I did not apply any compost to my old garden. In a typical year, I try to spread a layer of compost at least ½ inch thick on my entire garden, but last year I did not do that at all. Second, I kept hitting rocks in the old garden on almost all of my soil samples, and they were usually significant ones. Sometimes it almost seemed like a gravel bar. And rocks will act as barriers that could have caused me to have shallower samples. Third, I guess it's possible that I didn't have as much leaves, or that the leaves in the old garden didn't decompose as fast. We had a terrible drought from July through September, and the back of my garden didn't get much water. As such, you can actually see leaves still present in the old garden, while in the new garden they have pretty much decomposed. And overall, I took 6 different samples in the old garden, and 5 of those were between 8 and 12 inches. Curiously, I did have one outlier where I took a sample in the main walkway where I always walk, and I can't remember ever taking a sample here before, but in this spot, the black soil depth was only 5 inches. I assume this is because of compaction. I took another sample 2 feet away and it was 8 inches, so there you have it. But still, it was interesting. But I'm open to any theories as to why I didn't get the normal improvements when every other year I've done this, I always seem to add 2 inches of depth. I found it really puzzling. Even more so considering the newer garden definitely had an improvement that I could see. Going from 4 to 5 to 5 to 7. But my old system of adding compost before leaves every year, that always worked, so I'm going to go back to that. Based on these results, I have resolved to make as much compost as I can before Christmas to try to cover my entire garden. So, wish me luck. But still, even with all of this, I should point something else out. First, I got a promotion for my regular job a while back, and with that, I have to commute up to 2 hours per day, and that definitely cuts into my gardening time. I really did neglect the garden this year, more so than normal. Really only going out to plant and harvest. Seriously, I never pruned my tomatoes. I almost never pulled weeds. I never patrolled for pests, which ended up being a problem because of squash vine borer and slugs. But even with all of that, the garden still looked good and is not overrun with weeds. And that's all because of leaf mulch. Leaf mulch suppresses the weeds, it preserves water, and still adds a lot of fertility to my soil. So even with all my neglect, we ate really well all season. My wife was able to can a decent amount of tomatoes. We froze a lot of beets, and overall I'm happy considering the lack of effort I put into it. So that's all I've got for you on this video. It was a brief update that turned out to be a bit longer than I anticipated, mainly due to the puzzling results in the old garden. But that is just what I found, so I'm showing you that. So I hope you got something out of it, and don't forget to get those leaves this year, as I definitely will be again. You guys all have a good one.